The price of perfection. Tea here is a dangerous allure to perfection. For some, it's an ideal, a goal to strive for. For others, it becomes an obsession, a consuming fire that burns through reason and self-preservation. This is the story of one such obsessiona descent into darkness, driven by the pursuit of beauty. Lila had always been beautiful. With her high cheekbones, radiant smile, and captivating eyes, she had turned heads since she was a teenager. But beauty is a double-edged sword, and for Lila, it came with an unbearable pressure to maintain it. As a model and rising social media star, her appearance wasn't just a part of her life, it was her life. At first, the compliments were exhilarating. The likes, comments, and shares felt like validation, a tangible measure of her worth. But as her following grew, so did the criticisms. Trolls picked apart her every feature. Her nose is too big. She'd look better with fuller lips. Her jawline isn't sharp enough. The comments that once uplifted her began to weigh her down. Lila started small. Her first procedure was a simple one-lip fillers. The results were subtle, barely noticeable to anyone but her. She loved the way her lips looked plumper in selfies, how they seemed to frame her smile perfectly. The compliments poured in, and with them came a surge of confidence. "You look amazing, Lila," her followers gushed. "What's your secret?" But the high didn't last. Like an addict chasing their next fix, Lila began to see flaws everywhere. Her nose seemed too prominent, her cheekbones not defined enough. She couldn't stop staring at her reflection, scrutinizing every detail, imagining how she could improve. Her next procedure was a rhinoplasty. The surgeon assured her it would be subtle, a refinement rather than a transformation. But when the bandages came off, Lila barely recognized herself. Her nose was smaller, yes, but it no longer felt like hers. Her friends and family noticed the change immediately. "You didn't need to do this," her mother said, her voice tinged with sadness. "You were already beautiful." "You don't understand," Lila snapped. "I have to keep up. This is my career." Her mother didn't push further, but the tension between them lingered. Lila threw herself deeper into her work, booking more photo shoots, collaborating with brands, and spending hours editing her photos to perfection. But even with all her efforts, the insecurities remained. Late one night, scrolling through Instagram, Lila stumbled across a plastic surgeon's profile. The before and after photos were mesmerizing. Each transformation seemed flawless, the patients glowing with newfound confidence. She spent hours poring over the feed, imagining what she could look like in the after column. She booked a consultation the next day. The surgeon's office was luxurious, with sleek furniture and glossy magazines scattered on the coffee table. The walls were adorned with certificates and glowing testimonials. Dr. Halverson, a tall man with an air of confidence, greeted her warmly. "Lila, it's a pleasure to meet you," he said. His smile practiced but reassuring. "Tell me, what are you looking to achieve?" Lila hesitated, then poured out her insecurities. Her jawline, her cheekbones, her forehead, she wanted it all to be perfect. Dr. Halverson listened intently, nodding thoughtfully. "You are already stunning," he said. "But if these adjustments will make you feel more confident, we can certainly explore them." The first procedure was a success. Lila's cheekbones were more defined, her jawline sharper. The compliments returned, and for a while, she was happy. But the satisfaction was fleeting. Soon, she found herself back in Dr. Halverson's office, requesting more work. Her friends began to express concern. "Lila, you don't need any more surgery," one of them said during lunch. "You are starting to look different." "Different how?" Lila demanded, her voice sharp. "I don't know. Just not like you." The comment stung, but Lila brushed it off. She convinced herself they were jealous, unable to understand the pressures of her world. She pushed them away, focusing instead on her transformation. Over the next year, Lila underwent procedure after procedure. Each one brought her closer to the image of perfection she had in her mind. But with each surgery, her reflection became less familiar. Her once bright eyes seemed hollow, her skin stretched too tight. Her features, though symmetrical, lacked the warmth and character they once held. One day, Lila received a message from a follower. "What happened to you? You used to look so natural." She deleted the comment, but the words lingered. For the first time, she began to wonder if she had gone too far. The breaking point came during her final surgery. She had requested a full facial reconstruction, convinced it was the only way to achieve true perfection. But something went wrong. When she woke up in the recovery room, her face was swollen and bruised, wrapped tightly in bandages. The pain was excruciating, but it was nothing compared to the fear gnawing at her gut. Weeks passed, and the swelling subsided. But when the bandages were finally removed, Lila's worst fears were realized. Her face was unrecognizable. The surgeon had botched the procedure, leaving her with uneven features and deep scars. She stared at her reflection, tears streaming down her cheeks. The person looking back at her was a stranger, desperate. Lila sought out other surgeons, hoping to fix the damage, but most refused to take her on, citing the risks of further procedures. One doctor told her gently, "Lila, your body can't handle any more surgeries. You need to focus on healing." Healing felt impossible. Lila became a recluse, avoiding mirrors and withdrawing from social media. Her once thriving career came to a halt, brands dropping her as her appearance changed. The world she had built around her image crumbled, leaving her isolated and lost. Months later, Lila's mother convinced her to see a therapist. The sessions were painful but necessary, forcing Lila to confront the insecurities that had driven her obsession. Slowly, she began to piece herself back together, finding value in who she was beyond her appearance. Today, Lila is no longer the face of perfection she once strived to be. Her scars remain, both physical and emotional, but she wears them as a reminder of her journey. She's found new ways to connect with her followers, sharing her story in the hopes of helping others avoid the same mistakes. "Perfection isn't real," she says in one of her videos, "and chasing it will only make you lose yourself. Love who you are, flaws and all." Her words resonate with thousands, a beacon of hope for those caught in the trap of comparison. And though she'll never forget the price she paid, Lila has finally found peace not in perfection, but in acceptance.